Of our 4.2 side sit. So we're starting with Alexander in our 4-point position. Remembering we're making sure that he's nice and aligned, making sure that his hands are underneath his hips and his hands are underneath his shoulders and his knees are underneath his hips. Perfect. So when we're in this position here, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of cueing Alexander. So I'm giving him a little bit of a vibration. I'm holding onto his shoulders as well, and just giving him a bit of a cue that I want him to push down, nicely done, through his arms. Because what he's doing is he's just relying on the immobilizers at the moment. So I'm giving him that cue that I want him to push down through this structure, just like that. So then he's actually activating through his arms. What I also want to do is I want to get him to lift his head up. Beautiful. So I'm just going to support his head. Perfect, Alexander. But he's actually doing this lifting. I'm just taking a little bit of the weight off his head so it's not as much weight to lift up. When he's in this really nice position, again, I'm going to try and get a little bit more rotation to the left. Give him a little bit more of a stretch. Good work. Or hold him in that aligned position. So I want to make sure that he's really nice and aligned. His head and his trunk are in really nice alignment, and making sure that we're not in that twisted movement with our head, but we're really nice and straight with our head as well. So we can hold this position for 30 seconds to a minute, as long as he tolerates, and then I transition him into a side sit. When we're doing side sitting, we're going to do each side. So we're going to move over to our right side first, which means I'm going to, good work, have my right hand on his right shoulder, my left hand on his left hip. And I'm just going to give him the cues and push my hand at his hip towards his right hip. Beautiful. And then bring my hand at his right shoulder up. So he's getting a little bit of a cue that he has to twist his body. Perfect. Now with this, Alexander likes to kick his legs out straight. I'm just going to move his hand underneath his shoulder here and just help him stabilize it. He's a little slippery right now. Perfect. But this is a really nice position to get that twist and that rotation through his trunk, and give him a bit of a stretch down here through his right side. Also getting him to weight bear through his arms. So again, holding this position for as long as he'll tolerate, and then coming out of the position up into a sit. Okay, just like that. Perfect. Okay, so for this exercise is army crawling for Alexander. It's just another review. You guys have had this one previously, but just to see where he's at now with his army crawling. So we're going to be starting on our stomach when we're doing our army crawling. Alexander's getting really good at pushing and pulling through his arm and through his leg. I do need to help to position that arm and leg for him, but the rest of it he'll kind of really pull and push through independently. So, you ready? We're starting on our tummy. So the reason why we want to focus on this activity is to give Alexander some floor mobility. We want him to learn how to move around on his own so then he can get some independence. So with this one, it's all about diagonal movements. Now, as you can see, Alexander really prefers to have his trunk rotated to the right, and he'll pretty much always start in this position exactly. Now, it's very, very, very important that when you are going to move his left arm, it's really important to support his shoulder first and then get the arm to move. If he's down like this and you try and get his arm up, you could possibly dislocate his shoulder. So really important to make sure we watch that shoulder first and then move his arm, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring that left arm out. I'm going to bring his right foot out. I'm going to put my foot behind his foot. I'll show you on the other side. Just because I want him to push down through my foot. And I'm going to give him a little bit of a cue and wait for him to do that push. Really nice. Ready? Then the opposite. So the right hand comes out and the left foot. So here I am supporting my foot behind his foot. I'm going to give him the cue and he does the push. Very nice. Again, support the shoulder to get that left arm out. Perfect. And then we push. Perfect. Right arm comes out. Left foot. And give him the cue and he does that push. Perfect, Alexander. Really nice. So with this, I would be doing as long as you possibly can. So if you've got a mat that's 2 meters long, then be doing it the 2 meters. Definitely a way to progress this activity is to do it in longer distances and giving him less cues. I really want him to start to bring his arms out so then he can start to really get more independence. But at the moment, I'm bringing his arms out just a little bit, but he is starting to assist with that. Making sure that you try it on different surfaces as well, so then Alexander realizes that he can use this mobility pattern on any surface. So try it on the mats, on the tiled floors or wooden floors, on rugs, things like that, just so that he gets even different sensory experiences while he's doing the activities. So the next exercise is just a neck stretching exercise for Alexander. So we're at the moment, Alexander's resting position for his head is with a little tilt to the left and rotation to the right. So he kind of like sits with his head in this position, and because of that, he's getting some real tightening of the muscles in his neck here. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're stretching that. So over the last 3 weeks, Alexander's responded really, really well to the stretching program that we've been doing every day. He's definitely getting a lot more range. Hey, don't throw your body back. He's definitely getting a lot more range, and he's moving his head around a lot more when he's in upright position too, aren't you? Yeah. So I'm going to show you 2 little stretches. One of them is him sitting in this position like this. Sometimes he doesn't tolerate this one as well, and so I often move on to the other one because he can't push out of it. So with this one, because his head is tilted to the left and rotated to the right, we want to do the opposite. So we want to give him the stretch to the right and rotation to the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stabilize his back with my leg. So he's just seated, supported like that, seated there. And I'm just going to, put my thumb on his shoulder. You ready, Alexander? Lifting up your head, buddy. Good man. And I'm just going to give him a bit of a tilt. I know you don't like it. A tilt to the right. Good work. Beautiful work. There you go. Good work. So he's wriggling out of it a little bit today, but ideally you'd want to be holding it for about 30 seconds in that tilt, and then you can give him a bit of a rotation. The other one, which he'll be lying on top of my thighs, is a really nice one just because it's using gravity to help that stretch. So I'm just going to bring him over, make sure his arm is over my thigh as well. Again, I'm going to support his body against my body and with my forearm here. I'm going to support his shoulder, and then I'm going to support his head very, very lightly. So I'm not lifting up his head at all, but I'm actually getting him to relax his head into the support of my hand. So my hand is very, very light against his head, which is really encouraging him to stretch out his neck so then he can get support from my hand. He'll hold this one a lot longer and is a lot happier with this position here. From here, we can then get a little bit of that rotation as well, and we can get a bit of a stretch there. But this is a really nice one to get that lateral flexion to the right in this position here. So those are our 2 neck stretches. So holding each one of them for about 30 seconds to a minute, or as long as he'll tolerate. All right, so this exercise is just rolling and then propping on Alexander's elbows. Alexander obviously can roll from his stomach onto his back really well, but we want to teach him how to activate and roll from his back onto his stomach. What we're doing is I'm giving Alexander, good work, that's right, we're going that way. I'm giving Alexander the least amount of support to get this transition. Nice, buddy, good work. I know you're mad. Hey, I know you're mad, buddy, I understand. Okay, let's do a couple more. Alright, a couple more exercises and we'll be done. Alrighty, so with this one here, I'm going to kind of be holding him down at his calf, and I'm going to, good work, I'm going to give him this cue to roll over. I'm going to wait for him to turn his head like he did, bring his arm across, that's it, keep going. Go, 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 come on, bring that arm across, go, go, go. I'll give him the cues to switch on his tummy if I need to. Beautiful work. And then when we're here, I'm just going to help him. Good work. Because what I want to do is get him on his elbows like this, making sure his elbows are directly underneath his shoulders. And then from this position here, I want him to wait in this position. I am going to get him to lift his head up and keep it in the middle as well. So I'm going to use my arms just to support his upper arms and make sure that he stays in this position, propping on his elbows. Ready, Alexander? I'm gonna move his head very slowly and gently so it's in that aligned position, and then give him the cues and wait for him to lift his head up. A little bit more, buddy. A little bit more. There, that's the way. Very nice. So I'm waiting for him and he's actually lifting his head up, and I'm just kind of holding onto it so it doesn't kind of come back down, but I'm making him do that movement. Beautiful work. Are you ready again? So I'm going to move your head into the middle. Beautiful. And then wait for you. Good. Yeah, good work. Keep going a little bit more. Go, 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 go. More, 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 more. So if you need to, you can give him a little bit of a vibration cue, but he just did that one perfect. Very, very nice. Beautiful work. For this, you can have like a mirror in front of you so you can see exactly the position that his head's in, just so that you're tracking exactly where he's at and making sure that he's in alignment. Obviously, then he rolls back over onto his back by himself. When you're doing this, making sure that you're rolling in both directions. You ready? So, good work. Nice turning your head. Arm across. Perfect. And then up onto his elbows again. So this is just really teaching him to activate through his shoulders, to activate all of that shoulder girdle structure through here. Beautiful work. Nicely done. And again, we can do the exact same. So I'll bring him into midline and wait for him to bring his... Yes, nicely done. Perfect. And wait for him to do that. And then we complete the roll. Perfect. Nicely done. So this exercise that we're doing with Alexander is reviewing the supine to sit and reviewing the transition to come up into a sit. You guys have had this one before, but Alexander's doing really well, so I just wanted to review exactly where he's at right now. This is a really important transition for him because it gives him more independence with his moving. It's going to give him more activation through his arm, through his shoulder, his core, and then I'm also making him prop sit when we're sitting in this position at the end. So he's weight bearing through his arms. I'm counting to 10 for him because sometimes he'll want to throw himself backwards, so I'm getting him to learn that he has to stay up there for a certain amount of time, and then we can transition down safely rather than throwing yourself backwards and possibly hurting ourselves. So it's teaching him the correct way to get up into sitting and then also how to get back down into sitting safely. When you're doing this, make sure you're doing it on the same number of times on each side as well. So we can do this transition down and back up every nappy change, every single time you're getting him up onto the floor. Pretty much any single time that you're getting him into a sitting position, use this. So rather than lifting him up, I want you to bring him through this slide lying position and then getting him to push up through his arm. He's going to activate through his core, so he's getting that repetition throughout the day. All right, are you ready, buddy? So we'll show everyone to the right side here. So I'm going to hold on at his upper trunk and just be a little bit high. When he's getting really good at this exercise and when he's been able to repeat it and doing really, really well and progressing well, then you just reduce the assistance that you're giving him by coming down through his trunk. So coming down through his trunk, but just keeping in mind, so we start around the rib cage for now. So what I'm going to do is we're going to roll over onto our shoulder. So I'm going to give him the cue and wait for him. Good work to do it. We come over onto our shoulder. We come up onto your elbow. You do it, buddy, not me. Good, that's the way. Good, pushing off your hand. Good work. So when he's in here, I'm giving him a push down towards his opposite hip. So my right hand, his left hip. And giving him that cue to come up and fix his body. That's it, that's it, that's it. Good work. And you can feel him switching on his muscles when he's doing this. When he's in this seated position, I'm then bringing his hands onto his legs just to give him a bit more height. And at the moment, I'm just kind of prompting him to keep his hands down there. My hands, or my fingers really, are just at his forearms just to give him a bit of that balancing, so then he's learning that he has to shift his weight between his left and his right to help maintain his balance. Okay, let's count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then when we're transitioning out of this, so he's really nice and upright, he's holding his head up. If we can, getting him to get a little bit of rotation to both sides as well, in particular rotation to his left, so coming around this way, just to get a bit more of a stretch, because he does like to sit with his head tilted to the right and rotated to head tilted to the left, rotated to the right. So we just want to have a bit of a stretch while we're doing that. Yeah, just like that. Nicely done. Perfect. All right, so when we're coming back down, yes, exactly right. You've got to put your hand down first. Not throwing yourself backwards. Nope. Alexander, hey, if you want to lie down, you do it properly. I know you want to lie down. Let's do it properly. Okay? So we go hands. Beautiful. Down onto your elbow, onto your shoulder, and then onto your back. Well done. Perfect. So transitioning him up, and then it's the exact same way to transition him back down. As you can see, if he wants to throw himself backwards, you explain to him that's not how we do it, and then show him and make him do it the correct way rather than letting him throw himself back and possibly be quite dangerous.